Hey everyone, the Momcozy Mobile Flow just got into me, and I figured I would take you along for an unboxing and initial thoughts. It did come shrink wrapped, and it does have like a little pull tab here, which is interesting, but at least you know that your pump isn't being opened. Their packaging is fairly nice. They have done a pretty good job putting everything on it. This was manufactured 5/18/2024. I think that's really important because I am literally filming this June 17th, 2024. So 6/17/2024. Literally a month apart. They were able to make this pump, get it into the States, and ship it to me, which is remarkable. We'll be doing a video in the future kind of diving into that, but just little Easter eggs for what's to come. Anyway, it does show kind of like the color that we're to be expecting. I'm just gonna go ahead, pull this open. It is interesting. I don't hate this. We've got the app store here. That way it takes you directly to it. The assembly right here is actually pretty smart in my opinion, because we see less and less moms or consumers in general reading the packets and instructions for it. So having it literally just right there is not a bad idea. This case is still absolutely massive. Like, I don't know that there will ever be a time where I sit here, pull their case out, and like, oh yeah, this is totally the best thing ever. So we've got a ton of parts up here and the pumps. Let's go ahead and dive into the parts just to see like what all we're getting with this. I mean, on the bright side, it's a massive case that holds a massive amount of things. It's still not something I would want to carry on a daily basis, but, you know, you at least have the room. Have their support card here. It claims the warranty is 12 months. They have tips, lactation consultant, and everything is just here to scan. One of the things about Momcozy, though, is they are actually not honoring warranties. It'll be curious to see if they change with this particular pump, since it is a smart pump. Therefore, it's more luxury. But I'm not actually expecting that they will, which is honestly a bummer. They still are sending out their measuring tool along with their guidelines. You've got the user manual, and then just the quick start, talking about like the app, how to get things set up, and then talking about charging, buttons, cleaning, sterilizing, and all that good jazz. This looks like it is an extra bottle. It's kind of shaped like the Zomi Fit bottles, but that's silicone. Don't love that. Let's see. Their inserts, we have 19, 21, 17. Still, they're really short ones. So this already is a red flag for me, because when this is the tunnel length that we're working with, the likelihood that elastic nipples can use this is basically out the window. So they send you another storage lid, I'm assuming for the actual pump bottle that comes with it. So again, 21, 19, 17 flanges. We get extra valves here. So there's a little clear O-ring. That'll be tricky because you'll need to wash that, but then they get lost easily. So that's kind of interesting to pick that color amongst a bunch of pink. So this is plastic, silicone duckbill. It's kind of sitting funky. Like, you can make it close like normal, but then slight movement is kind of getting it tucked. So that's gonna affect things. But it looks like you just literally pull it through. I guarantee if this doesn't get pulled through all the way, like if it's kind of lipped like this, probably would have really bad suction or leaking going on. If this O-ring goes missing, then that's automatically leaking. Alright, now for the pump. Case is still normal. I don't mind their packaging, honestly. I think this packaging is useful, especially with the adhesive, because you'll be able to see, like, if somebody else had your pump or whatever. And considering this stuff gets sold on Amazon and returned all the time, that could be useful for just kind of realizing if somebody else has already had your pump. because obviously you don't want that. It's got this little case over here. They do have a sticker. Again, I'm not hating the packaging, because this is honestly just giving you like the initial, like, you must know this detail. So it's talking about like, yes, you need to charge the pump before you use it. It'll automatically shut off at 30 minutes. It says it can't be turned on while it's charging. And then to assemble the pump correctly to prevent milk leaking and insufficient suction. So it's already giving us like troubleshooting tips essentially by letting you know like, hey, you need to be able to assemble this right. All right. So we've got a hardcover case here. Little skin. I like this. So anybody that's seen the unboxing to the period kit, they didn't have this connected. So I like that that's at least there for this. Overall, not a bad looking setup. I mean, it does feel light. It's just kind of cheapish. So it's got quite a few modes. I can go through and read on that. I didn't actually read on it ahead of time. So y'all are watching this real time with me. So again, it's talking about 5/24 was its manufacture date. That should be a fairly easy pump to open up. That'll be a fun teardown for everybody. So the flange is silicone up here. It's got two little layers. It looks like it's trying to help with the seal. It'll probably be really good for aiding in sealing up against different types of breast tissue. It's kind of like the Willow Go, where we have this plastic here that kind of turns into the silicone. That also means that like with sterilizing and just dishwasher use, things like that, this will likely end up tearing at the seams. But we can test that to find out. All right, so it snaps off of the bottle. We'll just stick with the bottle here. You twist. Again, going back to the duck bill, the O-ring there, it's just a twist. It's got pretty good grooves. I do like that they have an arrow so it tells you like where to put this rather than trying to like flip this around and do it backwards. I find it interesting that you twist on the like the lid to the bottle essentially, but then you snap it on here. I guess with time and practice, you'd kind of learn to snap, twist, snap, twist. This looks a lot like Annabella and Medela style things. So this is literally the back of that, which means if this doesn't get plugged in well, that'll also be a loss of suction there. There's actually a lot of points that leaking your suction could be a problem. If you didn't snap that in all the way, if the bottle wasn't twisted just right, if this isn't clipped in just right, that could cause leaking or loss of suction. It's interesting that they have this like hooked through there, but there's nothing that actually, let me get in closer. There's nothing that actually like, it just sits in there. It's not actually like catching and hooking on, which means you would have to do this just right. So if this isn't seated right, that's gonna kill your suction. If these aren't clipped on, that'll kill your suction. There's actually a lot of points of failure here. I'm kind of surprised given the way Momcozy actually does their stuff majority of the time. But then to take this off, it's just all one piece, kind of like that Medela membrane we were used to seeing. Got their cap. This plugs into this little silicone port here. There you go, right there. And then this is all plastic. So the biggest thing with this is that's still a really short, like it looks like it would be long, but when we factor in the suction hole, just like Elvie, you're going to be stuck to those really short inserts because the Willow inserts are already blocking like half of that suction port. So you're going to have issues with suction there, which means you get stuck either with the Momcozy inserts or the inserts designed just for the Elvie OG. So that's kind of disappointing. But you can definitely see where there's like a lot going on to get this thing set up. Have to hook this through, and then they want you to like carefully hook that. So I mean, with plenty of practice, I feel like you could probably nail that down, but that's going to make troubleshooting this a hassle because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 if we talk about like if things are blocking the suction port, that could cause either leaking or loss of suction. So that's going to be really frustrating for a lot of moms. It'll be really interesting to test out the app situation for the pump. But for now, I'm not going to do that in this video. Overall, I mean, it's 5-ounce capacity. Nothing to, you know, get all excited about. It is still larger than the LV, so it's not going to be like more discreet than LV. If you're going for the most slim fit, you're going to want that LV pump. I think my biggest frustration with this is like they sent us all these parts, but they only sent a diaphragm. Like they did not send a second diaphragm for this. So how much is this diaphragm going to cost, and when do those replacement parts come in? And how long is this even going to last? We actually got a lot of information about Momcozy with these recent pumps that they're kicking out. So stay tuned. We're going to have plenty of information about them, including their manufacturing dates and like how they're getting into the States and all this stuff. Because other like reputable pump companies are taking, you know, months, if not longer, to get in through customs and everything. So the fact that they're able to just completely override that is kind of curious. Anyway, hopefully that gives you a really good idea of just what all you're getting with the Momcozy Mobile, and more testing and details is to come.